This is CBS 47 Action News Jax at 5. Local coverage you can count on.
The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office says a struggle over a gun led to a deadly officer-involved shooting. And new since noon, JSO also revealed that the suspect fired at least one shot at the officer.
All I heard was the gunshots. All we heard was the pow, pow, pow. My mom called the police.
Today's Sky Action News Jax was over the Motel 6 right off of I-95 on the north side where the shooting happened. Our pilot could see families with children who were kept out of their rooms as officers collected evidence. Now, in the last 3 hours, JSO said they are working to identify the man that was killed. I'm Tanika Hughes.
I'm John Bachman. We want to get you caught up on the latest right now. An officer said he and a recruit noticed a car reported stolen out of Georgia. The suspect allegedly got within 5 feet of them and refused to drop what he was carrying. Police said there was a struggle over the suspect's gun, and then multiple shots were fired. Action News Jax's live team coverage on the investigation. We begin with Action News Jax Amber Kriska live near the motel on the north side. Amber, the officer was not wearing a body camera.
And in the briefing today, they said the officers in this area have not received their body cameras just yet. Take a look behind me. This is where it all happened right here. And police, they just wrapped up their investigation in the last 10 minutes. They were out here for nearly 8 hours. And it all began this morning as a stolen car case and ended with a suspect dead and an officer in the hospital.
I think this incident indicates, or is a good indicator of how dangerous and how quickly police work can go wrong.
Police say an officer and a recruit officer were patrolling the area around the Motel 6 on Dunn Avenue this morning when they noticed a red car in a parking spot with the trunk open. The officer determined the car was stolen. They say a woman walked out of the motel and told officers the car belonged to her boyfriend. As the recruit officer tried to detain the woman, she put up a fight.
The female then began to both physically and verbally resist his efforts, trying to pull away, trying to prevent from being handcuffed.
Moments later, police say a man walked out of the motel holding a duffel bag and began to approach the officers.
The recruit officer heard his field training officer, the primary officer, yell numerous times, commanded the male to drop the bag.
Police say the man continued to get closer to the officers, and that's when they say they noticed a gun in his hand.
The primary officer, the FTO, then engaged in a brief physical struggle over the handgun with this subject.
Investigators say the officer fired his gun multiple times, hitting the man who was pronounced dead at the scene. And that officer, a JSO veteran, was not shot, but he was hurt during that struggle and taken to the hospital, but I am told he is going to be okay. Reporting live on the north side, Amber Kriska, CBS 47 Action News Jax.
In the last 2 hours, workers and tenants were allowed back inside of the Motel 6. Our team coverage continues with Action News Jax Courtney Cole. She is live at the scene. And Courtney, you spoke to some tenants who said they are still in shock about what they witnessed.
And one witness told me she could hear and see everything from her window happening in the parking lot here behind me. My photographer, Robert Jackson, is stepping in to give you a closer look. Everyone I spoke to out here said they didn't hear any yelling or screaming, just gunshots.
I came back home to the States from India, and I came back to this. It's horrible.
LaSonia Kasim said she was video messaging her son inside her room at Motel 6 when shots rang out.
And he said, "Mama, get down." I said, "No, Brandon, something is wrong."
That's when Kasim got up to open the door to see what was going on.
I am 3 doors up from the parking lot. I look and I see an officer holding his gun, backing away.
Jontia Coley said she and her mom were trying to leave their room this morning when all this happened.
We heard like 8 or 9 shots ring out, and I just balled up in the bed and started crying because I told my mom, I'm like, somebody's dead.
Coley said his body was laying right behind their car.
It's just so nerve-wracking just to see somebody like that. It's something you can't get out your head. And that's something I can't get out my head, because just to see him laying on that ground like that, it's just a lot.
Both women told me they didn't hear anything leading up to the shooting.
No yelling, no shouting, just gunshots.
All you heard was pop, 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 pop.
This Motel 6 is located right off of 95, so In the last 2 hours, I spoke to businesses, people who work around here, to see how they feel about the area and if they feel any different about their safety following this officer-involved shooting. I'll have those answers for you coming up on Action News Jax at 6. Reporting live in North Jacksonville, Courtney Cole, CBS 47, Action News Jax.
This was the 5th police shooting involving JSO so far this year. Action News Jax Paige Kelton picks up our team coverage on where those investigations stand.
All of JSO's officer-involved shootings happened in the second half of 2018. And as of tonight, all are still being investigated internally and by the state attorney's office. The most recent, November 16th on Melson Avenue. According to JSO, Tyrone Buckman was armed when he was shot by an officer. He survived. We're told there is body camera video of the incident, but it hasn't been released. Tony Smith was shot and killed on Halloween after he fired on an officer. Smith and 3 others were wanted in a beating and carjacking. August 13th, a JSO officer fired at an armed Kenneth Williams, but he wasn't hit. And in July, Harold Cray was fatally shot after approaching an officer with a knife. He refused commands to put it down. 2018 saw half as many police shootings as 2017, when there were 10. In the newsroom, Paige Kelton, CBS 47, Action News Jax.